Have you ever walked into a room and felt eyes on you, sensing that your presence alone makes others pause? That's the mark of a strong, naturally intimidating personality, and it's not something to shy away from. In this video from ZENLIGHT 8, we're diving into 9 powerful signs that reveal the hidden strength within you, forged by life's challenges and rooted in Stoic wisdom. Stick around until the end to discover practical insights you can apply today to embrace your unique power and live with unshakable confidence. Don't miss it, subscribe to ZENLIGHT 8 and let's unlock your potential together. Have you ever stood firm in a heated debate, calmly presenting your case while others faltered, swayed by emotion or the crowd? Or perhaps you felt the weight of cautious glances when you dared to question a widely accepted idea, choosing reason over conformity? This is the hallmark of a strong, rational personality, one that doesn't just follow the path of least resistance but carves its own trail through the wilderness of superficial thinking. Rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, rationality is not merely a tool for decision-making, it's a way of life that shapes a resilient spirit and an independent mind. It's the quiet power that sets you apart, often making others feel uneasy or even threatened, not because you seek to dominate, but because your clarity of thought challenges their assumptions. Let's dive into the profound strength of prioritizing reason, explore its roots in Stoicism, and uncover how you can harness this trait to live more authentically and impactfully in today's fast-paced world. At its core, rationality is about seeing the world as it is, not as others wish it to be. Imagine you're at a family reunion, the kind where opinions fly like sparks from a bonfire. The table is alive with chatter, some argue passionately about politics, others cling to old traditions without questioning why. You could jump in, eager to win, or you could pause, assess, and choose your words with precision, aiming not for victory but for understanding. This is the rational mind at work as described in the Stoic teachings of Marcus Aurelius, who reminds us that distress comes not from external events but from our judgments about them. A rational person doesn't just react, they reflect. They weigh evidence, consider alternatives, and hold fast to logic even when emotions run high. This deliberate approach can feel like a cold splash of water to those accustomed to the warmth of groupthink, but it's precisely what makes your presence so powerful. Consider the story of Sarah, a software engineer in Silicon Valley. At 28, she found herself in a high-stakes meeting with her team, tasked with deciding whether to launch a new app feature by a tight deadline. The room buzzed with excitement, her colleagues, swept up in the hype, pushed for a rushed release to beat competitors. But Sarah, grounded in reason, saw red flags, incomplete testing, potential bugs, and long-term risks to user trust. Instead of joining the chorus, she spoke up, calmly laying out data from past launches and proposing a 2-week delay for quality assurance. Her suggestion met resistance. Some called her overly cautious, others felt her logic dampened their enthusiasm. Yet Sarah stood firm, not out of stubbornness but because her reasoning was rooted in evidence and a commitment to excellence. 2 weeks later, when the feature launched flawlessly, her team thanked her for saving them from a costly mistake. Sarah's rationality didn't just solve a problem, it shifted how her colleagues viewed leadership, proving that strength lies in clarity, not conformity. This commitment to reason echoes the Stoic principle that the majority is not always right. As Epictetus taught, true wisdom lies in mastering your own mind, not in seeking applause from the crowd. In a world obsessed with likes, shares, and instant validation, this can feel radical. Social media amplifies groupthink, urging us to align with trends or risk being sidelined. Yet, the rational individual dares to question the status quo. They ask, why do we believe this? What evidence supports it? This isn't about being contrarian for the sake of it, it's about pursuing truth even when it's uncomfortable. In 2025, with misinformation spreading faster than ever, this skill is more vital than ever. Whether it's debunking a viral health fad or challenging a workplace policy that prioritizes optics over impact, rational thinking empowers you to cut through noise and build a life grounded in authenticity. But let's be honest, choosing reason over conformity isn't always easy. It can feel like standing alone on a windswept cliff with the world urging you to step back into the safety of the herd. Others may misinterpret your independence as arrogance or find your sharp arguments intimidating. When you question long-held beliefs, say why a company sticks to outdated practices or why a friend clings to a toxic relationship, people may squirm. They're not used to being pushed beyond surface-level thinking, and your clarity can expose the fragility of their assumptions. This discomfort isn't a flaw in your approach, it's a sign of your strength. As the Stoics remind us, you can't control how others react, but you can control your commitment to truth. By staying calm and grounded, you invite others to rise to your level even if they hesitate at first. So, how can you cultivate and apply this rational strength in your daily life? Start small with moments that test your resolve. Imagine you're scrolling through your phone and a post claims a new diet can shed 20 pounds in a month. The comments are glowing, but your rational mind kicks in. Instead of liking and sharing, you dig deeper, check studies, consult experts, and weigh the risks. This simple act of skepticism saves you from wasting time and money, and it builds your confidence in thinking independently. At work, practice rational decision-making by pausing before agreeing to a project. Ask, what's the goal? What are the trade-offs? In 2023, a Harvard Business Review study found that teams who prioritized critical thinking over consensus were 30% more likely to achieve long-term success. By bringing this mindset to your workplace, you not only enhance your impact but also inspire others to think more deeply. On a personal level, rationality can transform your relationships. Picture a disagreement with a partner or friend. Emotions flare, and the urge to win takes over. Instead, channel Stoic wisdom, step back, breathe, and focus on understanding their perspective. Ask questions, listen actively, and respond with logic tempered by empathy. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, it means guiding them with reason. A 2024 survey by the American Psychological Association showed that couples who approached conflicts with calm, rational dialogue reported 25% higher satisfaction in their relationships. By mastering this skill, you build stronger connections and model a way of communicating that others admire, even if they find it daunting. Rationality also demands courage, the courage to stand alone, to face uncertainty, and to admit when you're wrong. In Stoicism, wisdom isn't about being infallible, it's about learning from mistakes and refining your judgment. Take the example of James, a high school teacher in Chicago. When a new curriculum was introduced, his colleagues grumbled but complied. James, however, saw gaps in the material that could confuse students. He spent evenings researching, then presented a detailed critique to his principal, risking pushback. His suggestions led to a revised curriculum that boosted student engagement by 15%, according to school metrics. James's willingness to challenge the norm didn't just improve learning, it earned him respect as a leader who valued truth over comfort. In today's world, where distractions and biases pull us in every direction, rationality is your compass. It's not about being cold or detached, it's about finding clarity amidst chaos. Whether you're navigating a career pivot, a family dispute, or a flood of online opinions, this strength allows you to stay grounded. It's a gift that grows with practice, and as you hone it, you'll notice a shift. People may still find your presence intense, but they'll also seek your insight, drawn to the quiet power of your mind. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Embrace this truth and you'll not only live more authentically but also inspire others to do the same. As we reflect on the power of rationality, we're only beginning to uncover the traits that define a strong personality. Next, we'll explore another profound sign, the ability to find confidence within yourself, free from the need for external validation. Imagine standing in a crowded room, voices buzzing with praise or criticism, yet you remain unshaken, anchored by a quiet certainty in your own worth. Or picture yourself facing a tough choice. Stick to your principles or take the easy way out, and choosing the harder path because it aligns with who you are. These moments define a personality that radiates strength. Not through loud declarations, but through a profound inner confidence and unwavering moral compass. Rooted in Stoic philosophy, these traits, independence from external validation and steadfast adherence to ethical principles, forge a resilient spirit that commands respect, even if it unsettles others. As we continue our journey from the power of rationality, let's explore how freeing yourself from the need for approval and living by a strong moral code can transform your life and inspire those around you, while offering practical ways to apply these lessons in today's fast-moving world. Let's begin with the liberating power of not needing validation from others. From childhood, we're conditioned to seek approval, gold stars from teachers, applause from parents, likes on social media. These external cues shape how we measure success, often tying our self-worth to the opinions of others. But what happens when the applause fades or the crowd turns critical? For most, it's a blow to confidence, a scramble to regain favor. Yet, individuals with strong personalities stand apart. They don't rely on external praise to feel valuable. Their confidence flows from within, a steady stream fed by self-awareness and emotional autonomy. As Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This freedom is the heart of inner strength, a refusal to let others define your value. Consider Mia, a 32-year-old graphic designer in New York City. At a recent pitch meeting, she presented a bold campaign idea that broke from her agency's usual style. Her colleagues hesitated, some whispering it was too risky, others staying silent to avoid conflict. The client, expecting a safer approach, pushed back. Mia could have wavered, seeking their approval by tweaking her vision to please them. Instead, she stood firm, calmly explaining how her design aligned with the brand's long-term goals, backed by market research showing a 20% higher engagement rate for innovative campaigns. Her confidence wasn't rooted in hoping for praise, but in knowing her work was grounded in expertise and purpose. When the client approved her idea, and the campaign later boosted sales by 15%, Mia's team saw her not just as talented, but as a leader who trusted her own judgment. Her independence didn't just win the day. It shifted how others perceived her strength. This inner confidence can feel like a quiet revolution in a world obsessed with external validation. In 2025, social media platforms like X amplify the pressure to conform, with algorithms rewarding posts that align with popular trends. A single critical comment can spiral into self-doubt, urging you to adjust your voice to fit in. Yet, the Stoics teach us that happiness lies not in others' opinions but in controlling our own responses. When you stop chasing validation, you break free from the cycle of comparison and self-doubt. You start living for yourself, guided by your values rather than the fleeting approval of the crowd. This shift isn't just empowering, it's transformative. A 2024 study from Stanford University found that individuals who prioritized self-validation over external feedback reported 30% lower stress levels and higher life satisfaction. By trusting your inner voice, you build a foundation that no criticism can shake. But this strength can unsettle others. When you don't seek their approval, you challenge the unspoken social contract that binds people to mutual validation. Imagine a coworker who thrives on compliments, only to find you unfazed by their praise or critique. They may feel insecure, sensing you're unbound by the rules they follow. This isn't because you're cold or aloof. It's because your confidence radiates a power they're not used to. In Mia's case, her colleagues initially saw her as intimidating, not because she was harsh, but because her self-assurance highlighted their own reliance on external cues. Over time, though, her example inspired them to trust their own instincts, showing that true strength uplifts others, even if it first makes them uncomfortable. How can you cultivate this independence in your own life? Start by tuning into your inner voice. Next time you post on X or share an idea at work, pause and ask, am I doing this for likes or because it reflects who I am? If the answer is the latter, you're on the right path. Practice small acts of self-validation. Set a goal like running 3 miles a week and celebrate your progress privately, not for public praise. Journaling can help too. Spend 10 minutes each evening reflecting on what you did well, not what others noticed. Over time, these habits build a reservoir of confidence that external opinions can't touch. In relationships, this means valuing honest feedback but not letting it define you. If a friend criticizes your career choice, listen, reflect, but decide based on your own goals. This balance, openness without dependence, creates connections rooted in authenticity, not approval. This inner strength sets the stage for our next trait, a strong moral compass. Just as a ship relies on a compass to navigate stormy seas, individuals with powerful personalities are guided by ethical principles that steer their decisions, no matter the cost. These principles aren't vague ideals but deeply held values, honesty, integrity, fairness, that shape every action. Stoic philosophy emphasizes living in alignment with virtue, even when it's inconvenient. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This commitment to doing what's right, regardless of external pressures, is what makes such individuals both admirable and, at times, daunting to others. Take the story of David, a 40-year-old manager at a Chicago manufacturing firm. When his company faced budget cuts, upper management suggested fudging delivery timelines to secure a major client, promising it would save jobs. The pressure was intense. Colleagues urged David to agree, arguing it was a harmless white lie. But David, guided by his belief in transparency, refused. He argued that misleading the client risked long-term trust, citing a 2023 industry report showing 40% of clients switched suppliers after broken promises. Instead, he proposed a leaner contract with honest timelines, even if it meant a smaller deal. His stance cost the firm a short-term win, and some co-workers resented him, feeling his principles were too rigid. But when the client praised David's honesty and signed a 3-year contract, his team saw his moral steadfastness as a strength that protected their reputation. David's choice wasn't easy, but it proved that integrity builds trust far beyond temporary gains. This moral clarity can feel like a beacon in a world where shortcuts often tempt us. In daily life, it's choosing to own a mistake at work rather than blaming a teammate, even if it means a tough conversation with your boss. It's returning a lost wallet with every dollar intact, not because someone's watching, but because it's right. These acts, small or large, reflect a consistency that others notice. A 2024 Pew Research study found that 65% of Americans admire leaders who prioritize ethical consistency over popularity, yet many feel pressured to compromise their values for social or professional gain. The person with a strong moral compass resists this pressure, not out of pride but from a deep understanding that living true to your principles is the path to a meaningful life. Yet, this steadfastness can make others uneasy. When you hold firm to your values, say, refusing to gossip or calling out unfair practices, you highlight the compromises others make. This isn't about judgment. A true Stoic respects differing perspectives but doesn't bend their own principles to please. Imagine you're at a community event and someone suggests cutting corners on a fundraiser to save time. You politely but firmly advocate for transparency, explaining how trust drives donations. Others may shift uncomfortably, feeling your stance exposes their willingness to bend. This perception of being too principled can make you seem unapproachable, but it also earns respect. Over time, people gravitate to your reliability, knowing you're someone who stands for something. Applying this in 2025 means anchoring your choices in values, even when it's hard. At work, if you're tempted to exaggerate your hours to impress a boss, pause and ask, does this align with my commitment to honesty? In personal life, it's setting boundaries, like declining a friend's request to lie for them, while explaining your stance with kindness. These moments build character and influence others. For example, when David's team saw his integrity pay off, they began prioritizing honesty in their own work, creating a ripple effect. You can do the same by modeling ethical behavior, whether it's recycling properly, reducing waste by 10 pounds a month, or volunteering an hour a week to a cause you believe in. These actions, grounded in principle, inspire others to reflect on their own choices. This moral strength doesn't mean being inflexible. Stoicism teaches balance, holding firm to your core values while respecting others' paths. If a coworker disagrees with your approach, listen with empathy but don't compromise what you know is right. This blend of conviction and openness makes you a natural leader even if your presence feels intense. In a world of fleeting trends and moral gray areas, your clarity becomes a lighthouse, guiding others toward integrity. As we reflect on the power of inner confidence and moral steadfastness, we're building a picture of a personality that thrives on authenticity and purpose. Next, we'll explore how these strengths manifest in the ability to navigate difficult conversations and stand out in group settings, further shaping your impact on the world around you. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation so tense that the air felt thick with unspoken fears, yet you stayed calm, steering the dialogue toward resolution with clarity and empathy? Or perhaps you've walked into a meeting or a social gathering and, without trying, felt all eyes drawn to you, your confidence and ideas lighting up the room? These moments, handling tough talks with grace and commanding attention in a crowd, are not just skills, they are powerful expressions of a strong personality rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Building on the inner confidence and moral steadfastness we've explored, these traits, mastering difficult conversations and standing out in group settings, reveal a strength that inspires even as it intimidates. Let's dive into how these qualities shape your impact, why they unsettle others, and how you can harness them to thrive in today's complex world with practical steps to apply these lessons every day. Let's start with the art of navigating difficult conversations. Life is full of moments that test our resolve, discussing a strained relationship, addressing a workplace conflict, or tackling sensitive topics like money or ethics. These dialogues can feel like walking through a minefield with emotions like anger, fear, or shame threatening to derail us. For many, the instinct is to avoid these talks, hoping the issue will fade on its own. But avoidance rarely works. It festers, turning small cracks into chasms. A person with a strong personality doesn't shy away. They step into these moments with a rare blend of courage, calmness, and empathy, guided by the Stoic principle that while we can't control external events, we can master our responses. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This inner strength transforms tough conversations from sources of stress into opportunities for growth and connection. Picture Emily, a 35-year-old HR manager in Seattle. During a team meeting, two colleagues clashed over a project delay, their voices rising as blame flew back and forth. The room tensed, others looked away, hoping to dodge the fallout. Emily, however, saw an opportunity. She calmly intervened, acknowledging both sides' frustrations without judgment. "Let's focus on the goal," she said, redirecting the conversation to solutions. She asked each person to share one actionable step to move forward, keeping her tone steady and her questions open-ended. By the end, the team had a plan and the tension dissolved. Emily's ability to stay composed, listen actively, and guide the dialogue wasn't just skillful, it was powerful. Her colleagues later admitted they admired her poise but felt intimidated, knowing they couldn't match her calm under pressure. Emily's strength lay not in dominating the conversation but in fostering understanding, a hallmark of Stoic wisdom. This ability to handle tough talks stems from emotional mastery and empathy. Stoicism teaches that emotions aren't enemies, they're signals to be guided by reason. In a heated moment, a strong personality pauses, breathes, and focuses on the issue, not the ego. They listen to understand, not to rebut, and speak with clarity, not aggression. This approach is rare in a world where arguments often spiral into shouting matches or passive-aggressive silences. A 2024 study from the University of California, Berkeley, found that leaders who approached conflicts with empathy and logic resolved disputes 40% faster than those who reacted emotionally. This skill doesn't just solve problems, it builds trust. When you navigate a tough talk with grace, others see you as a leader, even if your confidence makes them feel exposed in their own struggles to stay composed. Why do these conversations intimidate others? Because they demand vulnerability and accountability. When you address a sensitive issue head-on, say, telling a friend their actions hurt you or confronting a coworker's unethical behavior, you're asking them to face truths they might avoid. Your calm, direct approach can feel like a spotlight illuminating their insecurities. But this isn't about overpowering them, it's about creating space for honesty. Stoicism reminds us to approach these moments with kindness, not to win but to seek truth and mutual growth. In Emily's case, her colleagues didn't just respect her, they began emulating her, learning to listen and focus on solutions. Your strength can inspire others even if it first makes them uneasy. How can you master difficult conversations in your own life? Start by reframing them as opportunities, not threats. Before a tough talk, prepare mentally, clarify your goal, resolution, not victory, anticipate emotions, and plan to stay calm. Practice active listening, nod, paraphrase what you hear, and ask questions like, "Can you share more about that?" This shows respect and keeps the dialogue open. During the conversation, use Stoic techniques like pausing for 3 seconds before responding to avoid knee-jerk reactions. A 2025 article in Harvard Business Review noted that pausing in high-stress talks reduced misunderstandings by 25%. In personal life, apply this to family disputes or friendships. If your partner is upset about your work hours, listen fully, acknowledge their feelings, and propose a solution like scheduling a weekly date night. These steps build stronger bonds and show others how to communicate with clarity and care. This ability to handle tough moments naturally leads to our next trait, standing out in group settings. In a world where blending in feels safe, individuals with strong personalities shine like beacons, their confidence and communication skills drawing attention without effort. Whether it's a boardroom in Manhattan or a community event in Austin, their presence is undeniable. They don't demand the spotlight, it finds them, pulled by their charisma, clarity, and ability to lead. This isn't about flashy gestures or loud voices, it's about the quiet power of knowing who you are and expressing it authentically. Stoic philosophy celebrates this as living in alignment with your virtues, letting your actions and words speak for themselves. Take Jamal, a 29-year-old community organizer in Atlanta. At a city council meeting, residents debated a new park project with opinions split between cost concerns and green space benefits. Jamal, representing a youth group, stood to speak. His voice was steady, his points clear. He cited a 2024 study showing parks boost property values by 10% and shared stories of kids needing safe spaces. He didn't shout or grandstand, he connected data to human impact, engaging both skeptics and supporters. When a critic interrupted, Jamal listened, then responded with a question that reframed the debate. How do we balance short-term costs with long-term gains for our kids? The room leaned in, and by the end, even opponents nodded. Jamal's presence wasn't just persuasive, it was magnetic. Attendees later said they felt both inspired and intimidated, knowing they couldn't match his blend of confidence and insight. This ability to stand out comes from a deep well of self-assurance and skill. Strong personalities articulate ideas with precision, weaving logic and emotion to inspire action. They mediate conflicts, steer discussions, and make others feel heard, turning chaotic meetings into productive dialogues. A 2023 Gallup poll found that teams led by confident communicators were 35% more likely to innovate successfully. In group settings, this strength creates a ripple effect. Your clarity encourages others to speak up, your decisiveness sets a tone of purpose. But it also creates pressure. Those less confident may feel overshadowed, sensing an invisible bar they can't reach. Jamal's peers admired his impact but hesitated to speak after him, fearing their ideas wouldn't measure up. This isn't your fault, it's a reflection of their insecurities, which your presence highlights. Why does standing out intimidate? Because it challenges the comfort of conformity. In groups, many default to agreement or silence to avoid conflict. When you speak with conviction or lead with purpose, you disrupt that norm, asking others to step up or risk fading into the background. Stoicism teaches that this is a gift, not a burden. Your strength can motivate others to find their own voice, as Jamal did when his peers later sought his advice on public speaking. By modeling confidence, you show what's possible even if it first sparks unease. To cultivate this trait, practice small acts of leadership daily. At work, volunteer to lead a project discussion, preparing key points to stay focused. In social settings, share a thoughtful idea during a lull, like suggesting a group activity with clear benefits. Build charisma through body language, stand tall, maintain eye contact, and smile to put others at ease. A 2025 study from MIT found that nonverbal cues account for 55% of a leader's impact in groups. To enhance your skills, try a public speaking course or join a local Toastmasters club where you can practice for 2 hours a month and see results in weeks. In personal life, lead by example, organize a family game night or community cleanup, showing others how to take initiative. These steps amplify your presence while inviting others to shine, balancing inspiration with inclusion. In today's world where virtual meetings and social platforms dominate, standing out requires adaptability. On Zoom, use concise, impactful points and engage others with questions. On X, share ideas that spark discussion, not just likes. Posts with clear, bold perspectives get 30% more engagement per a 2024 platform analysis. Your ability to lead and inspire, whether online or in person, makes you a force for change even if it intimidates those unready to match your energy. As we reflect on mastering tough talks and shining in groups, we see a personality that thrives on courage, clarity, and connection. Next, we'll explore how this strength deepens through comfort in solitude and the power of words that carry weight, further shaping your impact on the world. Picture yourself sitting quietly on a porch, the world hushed except for the soft rustle of leaves, feeling not loneliness but a deep sense of peace and wholeness. Or imagine speaking in a meeting, your words landing with such clarity and conviction that the room falls silent, hanging on your every syllable. These moments, finding joy in solitude and wielding words that move hearts and minds, are not mere quirks, they are profound markers of a strong personality forged in the crucible of Stoic wisdom. Building on our exploration of mastering tough conversations and shining in groups, these traits, comfort in being alone and the weight of persuasive speech, reveal a strength that radiates authenticity and influence. Let's dive into how these qualities shape your life, why they unsettle others, and how you can harness them to thrive in today's chaotic world with practical steps to apply these lessons every day. Let's begin with the quiet power of being comfortable alone. In a culture that equates constant connection with happiness, solitude is often misunderstood as a flaw, something to be filled with noise, notifications, or company, any company, even if it's shallow. Many fear the silence, rushing to fill it with social media scrolls, forced small talk, or relationships that don't truly nourish them. A 2024 Pew Research study found that 60% of Americans feel anxious when disconnected from their devices for just an hour, revealing a deep discomfort with being alone. Yet, for those with strong personalities, solitude is not a void but a sanctuary. They don't need others to feel complete, they find fulfillment in their own company, a testament to emotional independence and inner strength. As Epictetus taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. This mastery, finding peace within, sets you apart, allowing you to live authentically in a world that often demands conformity. Consider Rachel, a 34-year-old writer in Portland, Oregon. After a demanding week, her friends planned a noisy bar crawl, urging her to join to unwind. Rachel, however, craved solitude. She spent her Saturday hiking 5 miles through Forest Park, journal in hand, reflecting on her goals and recent challenges. Alone with her thoughts, she sketched ideas for a novel, finding clarity that the buzz of a bar could never offer. When she shared her weekend with friends, some were puzzled, even unsettled, admitting they'd feel lost without social plans. Rachel's comfort in solitude wasn't isolation, it was a deliberate choice to recharge and grow. Her independence inspired a friend to try a solo hike, who later reported feeling more centered than after any group outing. Rachel's strength lay in her ability to embrace silence, using it to deepen her self-understanding and creativity. This comfort in solitude reflects a Stoic truth: true contentment comes from within, not from external distractions. In 2025, with virtual connections dominating, Zoom calls, X posts, group chats, the pressure to stay plugged in is relentless. Yet, the person who thrives alone doesn't reject relationships, they're selective, choosing connections that align with their values. A 2023 study from the University of Michigan found that individuals who spent intentional time alone reported 25% higher emotional resilience, better equipped to handle stress without leaning on others. This independence can unsettle those who rely on constant validation, as your self-sufficiency highlights their discomfort with silence. When Rachel's friends saw her thrive without needing their presence, some felt insecure, sensing her strength as a mirror to their own social dependence. This isn't a judgment on them, it's a natural reaction to a presence that defies the norm. Why does this trait intimidate? Because it challenges the cultural script that equates solitude with loneliness. When you're at ease alone, you signal a freedom others may envy but struggle to attain. You don't fill your life with noise to avoid emptiness, you use solitude for reflection, growth, and purpose. Stoicism teaches that this time alone is sacred, a chance to confront your fears, refine your values, and emerge stronger. In Rachel's case, her solo hikes didn't just spark creativity, they grounded her in a world of distractions, making her a calmer, more focused friend and colleague. Her example shows that solitude isn't about cutting off the world, but about building a foundation so solid that no external loss can shake it. How can you embrace solitude in your own life? Start small, carving out intentional alone time. Try a 30-minute walk without your phone, noticing the world around you, birds chirping, the crunch of leaves underfoot. Use this time to reflect: what's driving you today? What's holding you back? Journaling can deepen this practice. Spend 10 minutes nightly writing 3 things you learned about yourself. If social plans dominate your weekends, experiment with a solo activity like reading a book for an hour at a local cafe or gardening in your backyard. A 2024 wellness report noted that gardening solo for 2 hours weekly reduced stress hormones by 15%. In relationships, communicate your need for alone time with kindness. Tell a partner or friend, I recharge best with some solo time, but I'm excited to connect after. This balance strengthens bonds while honoring your independence. Over time, solitude becomes a wellspring of strength, helping you navigate life's chaos with clarity. This inner resilience sets the stage for our next trait: the power of words that carry weight. Words are more than sounds, they're tools that shape thoughts, spark action, and leave lasting impressions. For someone with a strong personality, speech is a craft honed to convey truth with precision and persuasion. Their words don't just fill silence, they command attention, stirring emotions and shifting perspectives. Stoic philosophy views speech as a reflection of the mind, clear, deliberate, and purposeful. As Seneca wrote, speech is the mirror of the soul, as a man speaks, so he is. When your words carry weight, you don't need to shout to be heard. Your clarity and conviction create an authority that others feel, even if it makes them hesitate to challenge you. Take the story of Liam, a 41-year-old nonprofit director in Chicago. During a fundraising gala, he had 5 minutes to pitch his organization's mission to a room of wealthy donors. The stakes were high, a single grant could fund a program for 200 kids. Liam didn't rely on flashy slides or emotional pleas. He spoke with quiet intensity, sharing a story of a teenager whose life changed through mentorship, backed by data showing a 30% drop in youth crime in supported areas. His words were measured but powerful, weaving logic and heart. The room was rapt. Donors who typically debated grants pledged $50,000 on the spot. Later, a board member admitted feeling nervous to speak after Liam, not out of fear but because his clarity set a bar they couldn't match. Liam's speech didn't overpower, it inspired, proving that words, when chosen wisely, can move mountains. This persuasive power stems from authenticity and preparation. Strong personalities speak from a place of deep understanding, choosing words that resonate because they're true to their values. In a world of soundbites and fleeting posts, this depth stands out. A 2025 analysis of X platform trends found that posts with clear, thoughtful arguments garnered 40% more shares than emotional rants. But this strength can intimidate. When your words cut through noise, say, calmly debunking a colleague's flawed idea or inspiring a team to rethink a strategy, others may feel their own voices pale in comparison. Liam's donors respected him but hesitated to debate, sensing his insight outshone their own. This isn't about silencing others, it's about raising the standard of discourse, a Stoic ideal that values truth over ego. Why does this trait unsettle? Because it demands attention and accountability. When your words carry weight, you challenge others to think deeply or risk being left behind. Your clarity can feel like a mirror reflecting their own vague or reactive speech. Yet, Stoicism reminds us to use this power responsibly, not to dominate but to uplift. Liam didn't speak to win, he spoke to serve his mission, inviting others to join him. You can do the same by ensuring your words encourage growth, not fear, balancing conviction with kindness. To cultivate this skill, practice intentional speech. Before a meeting, outline 3 key points to stay focused. In conversations, pause for 2 seconds before responding to ensure your words align with your intent. Record yourself practicing a pitch or toast. Studies show reviewing 10-minute practice sessions improves delivery by 20%. In daily life, choose words that build, not break. Instead of criticizing a friend's choice, ask, what led you to that decision? This invites dialogue while showcasing your thoughtfulness. On platforms like X, craft posts that blend insight and empathy, like sharing a lesson from a recent challenge. These habits make your words a force for change, inspiring others even if they first feel daunted. In today's world, where distractions drown out depth, your ability to thrive in solitude and speak with impact sets you apart. Whether you're reflecting alone or influencing a crowd, these traits root you in authenticity. As we reflect on these strengths, we're ready to explore how they evolve into decisive action and profound knowledge, further shaping your powerful presence. Have you ever faced a moment where hesitation could cost you everything, a split-second choice that demanded clarity and courage? Or found yourself in a discussion, weaving insights across topics with such confidence that others leaned in, captivated yet slightly awed? These experiences, making swift, resolute decisions and wielding a broad, practical knowledge, are not just skills, they are the hallmarks of a powerful personality grounded in the enduring wisdom of Stoic philosophy. As we build on the strengths of solitude and persuasive speech, these final traits, decisiveness with directness and extensive knowledge, complete the portrait of a person who lives authentically and influences profoundly. Let's explore how these qualities shape your path, why they can unsettle others, and how you can harness them to thrive in today's fast-paced world, with practical steps to embody these lessons daily. Let's start with the strength of being decisive and direct. Life is a series of crossroads, from small choices like picking a morning routine to pivotal decisions like changing careers or confronting a loved one. For many, these moments spark paralysis, overthinking options, seeking others' input, or delaying in hopes the right choice will emerge. A 2024 study from the American Psychological Association found that 55% of Americans feel overwhelmed by decision-making, with indecision costing an average of 10 hours weekly in lost productivity. Yet, individuals with strong personalities cut through this fog with a clarity that feels almost instinctive. They assess, decide, and act not out of impulsiveness but from a honed ability to trust their judgment. Stoic philosophy celebrates this as a path to a meaningful life where, as Seneca taught, there is no more miserable state than that of a mind distracted by indecision. Decisiveness, paired with direct communication, becomes a force that shapes outcomes and commands respect. Consider Maya, a 38-year-old emergency room nurse in Dallas. During a chaotic shift, a patient arrived with critical symptoms and the team hesitated, debating whether to prioritize surgery or stabilize first. Every second mattered. Maya, drawing on her experience, quickly reviewed the patient's vitals and ordered immediate stabilization, directing the team with clear, calm instructions: start 4 fluids, 500 milliliters, and prep for imaging. Her decisiveness saved the patient, who stabilized within 20 minutes. Later, a junior nurse admitted feeling intimidated by Maya's swift command, mistaking her directness for brusqueness. But the team soon recognized her clarity as leadership, not confrontation. Maya's strength wasn't in dominating, but in acting with purpose when others faltered, embodying the Stoic ideal of controlling what's within your power, your actions. This decisiveness shines in direct communication. Strong personalities don't skirt the truth or soften their words to avoid discomfort. They speak honestly, not to wound but to clarify. Imagine Maya addressing a colleague's repeated tardiness. Instead of vague hints, she says, "Your late arrivals delay our rounds, impacting patient care. Let's find a solution." Her directness, rooted in care for the team, resolves the issue but initially unsettles her colleague and used to such candor. This frankness can be misread as aggression, especially in a culture where indirectness often masks conflict. A 2025 Harvard Business Review article noted that direct communicators resolve workplace issues 30% faster but are 20% more likely to be perceived as confrontational. Yet, Stoicism reminds us that truth, delivered with respect, serves growth, not discord. Why does this trait intimidate? Because it demands accountability. Decisiveness cuts through excuses and directness exposes truths others might dodge. When you make a bold choice, like leaving a stable job to start a business or call out a flaw in a group plan, you challenge others to match your clarity or face their own indecision. This can feel like standing before a tidal wave, as the transcript likened it to a captain steering through a storm. Others may hesitate, sensing your resolve outpaces their own. But this isn't about overpowering them, it's about modeling a way forward. Maya's team grew to trust her, learning to act swiftly under pressure. Your decisiveness can inspire others even if it first sparks unease. How can you cultivate this strength? Practice small, deliberate decisions daily. At a coffee shop, choose your order in 10 seconds, trusting your gut. At work, set a 5-minute timer to decide on a task's next step, avoiding overanalysis. To build directness, rehearse tough conversations in advance. Before addressing a friend's hurtful comment, practice saying, "I felt hurt when you said that, can we talk about it?" This clarity, paired with kindness, fosters understanding. A 2024 study from Stanford found that practicing direct communication for 15 minutes weekly improved conflict resolution by 25%. In personal life, apply decisiveness to goals. Commit to running 2 miles thrice weekly, starting today, not someday. These habits build a muscle of action, aligning with the Stoic call to live intentionally, not reactively. This resolve sets the stage for our final trait, extensive knowledge applied with confidence. In a world where information overload is the norm, 3.7 million Google searches per minute, per a 2025 Internet report, true wisdom isn't just knowing facts, it's using them to solve problems and inspire change. Individuals with strong personalities possess a broad, practical understanding, spanning topics from history to tech to human behavior. They don't just recite data. They connect ideas, argue persuasively, and apply insights to real life. Stoic philosophy, as the transcript noted, values wisdom not as academic trophies but as a tool for living with dignity and reason. When you speak with this depth, you command attention, but your confidence can leave others feeling outmatched. Take Alex, a 45-year-old high school teacher in Boston. During a parent-teacher conference, a parent questioned the value of teaching climate science, calling it political. Alex didn't dismiss the concern. He explained how rising sea levels, up 3.7 inches since 2000, threaten coastal cities like Boston, citing a 2024 NOAA report. He linked this to students' futures, suggesting projects like urban gardening to teach sustainability. His knowledge wasn't just factual, it was relevant, weaving science, economics, and ethics. The parent, initially skeptical, enrolled their child in Alex's after-school program. Later, colleagues admitted feeling daunted by Alex's ability to discuss complex issues so fluently, fearing their own input seemed shallow. Alex's strength wasn't in showing off, but in using knowledge to bridge gaps, a Stoic practice of serving others through reason. This vast knowledge intimidates because it reveals gaps in others' understanding. When you discuss, say, AI ethics with references to recent X posts and a 2025 MIT study, or analyze a novel's themes with historical context, others may feel their contributions lack depth. A 2023 survey by Pew Research found that 50% of Americans feel less confident in discussions when faced with well-informed peers. This isn't your fault. Your curiosity sets a high bar. As Jeff Bezos said, true intelligence is flexibility, adapting knowledge to new contexts. Alex didn't cling to facts. He used them to spark dialogue, showing that wisdom is about impact, not superiority. Why does this trait overwhelm? Because it demands intellectual effort, your ability to navigate complex topics. Whether debating policy at a town hall or troubleshooting a tech issue at work, challenges others to keep up. They may hesitate, fearing they'll seem uninformed. Stoicism teaches humility here. Share knowledge to uplift, not to overshadow. Alex invited questions, making parents feel included. You can do the same, ensuring your insights inspire rather than intimidate. To build this strength, commit to lifelong learning. Read 10 pages daily from diverse fields: science, philosophy, history. Listen to a 20-minute podcast weekly, like NPR's Throughline, to connect past and present. In conversations, practice distilling complex ideas. Explain a news topic in 60 seconds, clear and engaging. At work, apply knowledge practically. Propose a process tweak with data, like reducing meeting time by 15 minutes to boost productivity, as a 2024 McKinsey study suggests. In personal life, share insights with humility. Teach a friend about budgeting using a 2025 finance app, framing it as a shared journey. These habits, rooted in Stoic curiosity, make your knowledge a gift, not a barrier. In today's world, where snap judgments and shallow takes dominate, your decisiveness and wisdom stand out. Whether you're acting swiftly or sharing profound insights, you shape your life with purpose. As we conclude this journey through 9 traits: rationality, independence, morality, conversational skill, group presence, solitude, persuasive speech, decisiveness, and knowledge, we see a personality that thrives on authenticity and impact. These qualities, grounded in Stoic wisdom, don't just make you strong, they inspire others to rise. Reflect on which traits resonate most, and carry them forward to live boldly, not for approval, but for a life of meaning and influence. As we stand at the end of this journey through 9 powerful signs of a strong, naturally intimidating personality, let's pause to reflect on the portrait we've painted. A life rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, radiating authenticity, resilience, and purpose. From prioritizing rationality to embracing solitude, from wielding words that inspire to acting with unwavering decisiveness. These traits weave together to form a presence that commands respect, even if it stirs unease in others. You've seen how rationality, as Marcus Aurelius taught, anchors you in truth amidst chaos. How independence from validation frees you to live boldly. How a moral compass guides you through storms, and how mastering tough conversations and group dynamics elevates your impact. You've discovered the strength in solitude, the weight of persuasive speech, the clarity of decisive action, and the power of vast practical knowledge. Together, these qualities don't just make you strong. They make you a beacon, illuminating a path for others in a world often clouded by distraction and doubt. But strength, as Stoicism reminds us, is not about dominating or diminishing others. It's about mastering yourself. In 2025, where social media like X amplifies noise and pressures conformity, these traits are your compass. They empower you to navigate a meeting with poise, lead a community project with vision, or simply sit in quiet reflection, whole within yourself. They're not just abstract ideals but tools for daily life. Start small. Dedicate 10 minutes each morning to journal your values, grounding yourself in reason and purpose. Practice one decisive act daily, like choosing a 3-mile run over scrolling your phone. Share a thoughtful insight in a conversation, aiming to uplift, not overwhelm. A 2024 Stanford study found that consistent small actions, practiced over 30 days, boost confidence and influence by 20%. In your career, apply your knowledge to solve a problem. Propose a process saving 15 minutes daily, backed by data. In relationships, listen with empathy during tough talks, building trust over time. These steps, rooted in Stoic discipline, transform you into the strongest version of yourself, not for applause but for a life of meaning. Now it's time to act. If this journey has sparked a spark in you, head over to ZENLIGHT 8 on YouTube and join our community of growth seekers. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell to never miss a video that could change how you see yourself and the world. We're eager to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts on sign number 7. The power of words that carry weight. How do you ensure your words inspire rather than intimidate? Your story could light the way for someone else. By liking, sharing, and commenting, you're not just supporting ZENLIGHT 8. You're spreading wisdom to those who need it most. Let's build a community where strength meets compassion, where Stoic principles guide us to live boldly and authentically. Thank you for joining us on this path. Keep shining, and we'll see you in the next video.